Welcome to the Sports Machine with Brian and Dean. December 24th, Thursday. Short week this week. Christmas Eve tomorrow. Off till next Tuesday, I believe. So today we do have the college pick six bowl games. The Really Though segment, of course. NFL pick six. The Christmas Day games for the NBA. A couple of games are not going to be quite as good as we had hoped. But there's a couple really good ones on.
Yep.
NBA power rankings. Let's see if there's any shockers in there. I might have one in there that people may not like. I think we're going to get started in the NBA. Not the power rankings quite yet. But we are going to get started in the NBA because there's some big headlines around the NBA. And I think we kind of need to get into starting with Steph Curry. Of course. Who else would it be? So he was asked the question, do you think you're the best, pretty much? The best player in the world? And he says, in my mind, yes. That's how I have confidence out there that I can play at a high level every night. So, first of all, do we have any problems with the comment thinking he's the best?
Nope. I don't have a problem with it at all. Due to the fact that I haven't seen anything in this game that would make me say otherwise. He can shoot it from deep. He has the handles to get inside the paint. He can distribute the ball. He can create his own shot. He can move well without the ball as well. You talk about an all-around guy on the offensive end. Not to mention, he averages a couple of steals a game as well, so he's aware of what's going on the defensive end. Unlike some NBA players whose name I will not
He's talking about James Harden. Just put it out there.
This guy, he plays on both ends. He plays on both ends of the court, so I have no problem with a MVP saying that he feels like he's the best.
I agree with you in the point that I don't have a problem with him saying what he said.
Right.
Because to me, if you're going to do something, you should do it the best you can.
To the fullest.
To the fullest. And if you're doing it the best you can, then you should feel like you're the best at it.
Regardless of what anybody said.
I don't care what it is, whether it's basketball or football, not even a sport. Just doing a regular day job. If you're going to do it the best. And think you're the best.
Right.
To me, that's taking pride in your work. So I don't have a problem with Steph Curry thinking he's the best, going out there and try to prove it to other people.
Not to mention he has a ring to back that up.
Now, whether I agree with it or whether he's the best or not, that's another story. Because I think it's close, but I think LeBron James is in chill mode.
Right.
It's not like LeBron James is going out there trying to be the scoring champion.
Right.
In fact, he's just trying to get the number one seed probably.
Doing just enough.
Just trying to win.
Right.
You're talking about a dude that could go out there and get a triple-double pretty much whenever he feels like it.
Right.
And for me, that's hard to just say, well, yeah, Stephen Curry's better than that guy.
Right. LeBron James is just
It's his best player.
Specimen.
Right. Well, yeah, his best player in the world. That's who you're comparing yourself to.
Right. He's a physical specimen. Look at this dude, man, and one of the things I've liked about, I guess, when you get to comparing the two, is that besides the cramps that LeBron James had suffered, in the finals a couple of years back with Miami, he hasn't suffered a major injury. Knock on the wood or anything like that, not to jinx him, but he hasn't suffered a major season-ending type of injury. For a majority of his career, he's been very healthy. I guess I won't say very healthy. It's a long season for a lot of those guys, and their game is not as physical as NFL, of course, but it's still a physical game. And so he's been healthy.
He gets rested more than
right.
This year, yeah, I think it's actually a surprise he doesn't get rested more than he does. Because the team can win without him sometimes, especially against teams like Philadelphia and
right.
those types of teams.
Right.
There's no need for him to even really play.
Right.
But that's why I think a lot of times he does go in chill mode. Like Kevin Love, you can carry the load tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie, who just came back.
Right. Get the chemistry together for the team.
Exactly. Like you can take over tonight. He can give the game to some other people. And Steph Curry, 27 years old, he's gonna go out there and put it on every single night.
Exactly. And once again, it's another guy who takes care of his body as well. He hasn't suffered a major season-ending injury so far. Like I said, not to jinx the guy, but he takes good care of his body. I like his work. I like both of those guys' work ethic, especially
Any guy at the top, I think that's underrated with anybody that's ever been considered one of the best in their league.
Right.
I don't care what you say, how talented that dude is, no matter who it
he
is.
put in a
they
crap ton of work
They put in a whole bunch of work
to
be
make
good.
it look so easy.
Those shots Steve Nash was making was not unpracticed.
Yeah, he rehearsed those shots a lot, even in pre-games.
Next person that announced that they thought they were the best at something, his teammate, Steph Curry's teammate, Klay Thompson, thinks he's the best shooting guard. Like I said, once again, I don't have a problem with him saying it. Now, whether I agree, on the other hand, is another point.
Now, I disagree.
I'm just gonna go James Harden or Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson.
Is that just purely because you have hatred towards James Harden?
No, it's not because I have. It's once again, I knock James Harden for the fact that he blows on the other end of the floor.
I actually take Klay Thompson over James Harden for the same reason. But
He just completely blows.
you attack him way more than I do. And James Harden takes a lot of shots.
Right. I don't care what anybody say. Dwight Howard meant what he said, that he don't like playing with this dude because he's only getting like 3, 4, 5 shots a game, where this dude right here jacks up about 30 of them just whenever he wants to, whenever he feels like it.
Jimmy Butler, Chi-Town.
I like Jimmy Butler. He's gotten on my nerves the past couple of this week anyway, but for the most part, I like his game. I like the fact that he brings it on both ends of the floor consistently.
I would take Jimmy Butler over Klay Thompson. Right. And to be honest, it's not even close.
Right.
I like Jimmy Butler's a little bit more consistent. Mm-hmm. And plus the defensive side.
Right. Because if it's not falling for him on the offensive end, he's still going to bring it on the defensive end. I think that same thing with Klay Thompson to an extent. If he's not having a good offensive game, he may not always have the best defense, but
a person I put ahead of Klay Thompson at shooting guard as well is DeMar DeRozan.
He's underrated.
I've been a big fan of DeMar DeRozan for a while.
It's horribly underrated.
I mean, he plays in Toronto, so doesn't get much
Right.
credit. Now Toronto's kind of good, so maybe we'll start getting some of that love. Young man, Andrew Wiggins or Klay Thompson?
I'm taking Klay Thompson only because of experience right now. Eventually, I think Andrew Wiggins is going to be that guy.
I think right now they're about the same.
You do?
Yeah. To be honest, man, you got to think Klay Thompson's playing next to Steph Curry, Draymond Green, a championship team. Andrew Wiggins is playing around a whole bunch of young people. And someone that's not so young, but...
Right. But...
he go out there. He try.
But that's not Klay's fault, though.
It's not Klay's fault. Well, that's why I think they're about the same.
It's like you said before.
He's better.
It's like you said before. If ifs or fifths, we'd all be drunk. But what if they didn't trade Andrew Wiggins from Cleveland? What their team would look like right now?
I thought it was a bad trade from the get-go.
Right. Yeah, that's why I brought that up, because you never did like it. I wasn't for or against it. I was just entertained to see what this new Big Three was going to look like. Like everybody's been real big on free agency and trades and bringing in a Big Three, where you have teams like Oklahoma City, who was formerly the Seattle Sonics, and Golden State. You could also look at Washington, who, they're not looking like the best right now, but there's another one of those teams who's done it through the draft and put together a pretty good team. You can even say Detroit for right now. Put them in the mix anyway.
Klay Thompson or Dwayne Wade? That's going to be the last one.
Crap. Dwayne Wade.
I'll take Dwayne Wade just when he's healthy.
Right.
When he's healthy, I don't even think it's close.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But what is
Dwayne
one of the
Wade's
things you
still that
always
guy.
said? One of the things you always said, the best ability is what?
Availability.
There it is.
Last headline in the NBA I felt was intriguing. Dirk passed Shaq 6 on the all-time scoring list.
Done it with one team, just like Kobe. Doesn't have the rings, but he has been to 2 NBA finals. I believe first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm proud to I've been rooting for this team ever since he's pretty much been on this team and been drafted and helped get this team to like their first playoff streak and since forward. So I'm proud of the guy. Stand-up guy's done a lot for the Metroplex in the community. Once again, man, like I said before, I'm
Great personality, like
exactly, it's completely unselfish, like an unselfish guy.
goes out, comes off vacation
Right.
to greet a guy and hopefully will come to the team.
Right. And it's crazy because the guy who he's recruiting said, man, I really appreciate him coming off of vacation. And you couldn't even call him and just say, hey, I ain't talked to Mark yet, but I just want to let you know because I did appreciate what you did for me, and I'm not going to come. Like, just straight up. But whatever. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm hurt over the guy. I mean, the guy can't make a free throw if his life depended on it. And that's why the Spurs exposed it. What we say? Exposed him on Facebook and national TV. Every time this guy's in the game, anybody can basically exploit the NBA's rule to hacking the guy till the 2-minute mark.
And the NBA should not change that rule.
No,
I'm
right.
steadfast in that. Learn
Right.
how to shoot free.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
you paid millions of dollars
when
to
Tim Duncan
get a
came,
freebie.
When Tim Duncan came to the league, he couldn't shoot a free throw. Now he's at 70%. You can put the work in and get to good enough to where they stop intentionally fouling you.
The thing is all you do your whole life revolves around what, B? Playing basketball. You could be in somebody's court shooting free throws for 8 hours. At your court, at your gym. That's your job right there is to do what? Make your game better. You get paid millions of dollars just to improve yourself. We're supposed to improve yourself if you want to be one of the.
If you want to be Steph Curry status, who's sitting there
Exactly.
talking about I'm the best.
Exactly. If you want to be the cream of the crop, put in the work to do it. So it's like the fact this guy still just can't make a free throw, even if his family's life depended on it, it's just like, wow, like.
The saddest part about the whole free throw thing to me is the fact that he airballs so many of them. It's like, dude, you're not even close.
Not.
Like, if you were at least hitting the rim, you have like Shaq used to at least hit the rim most of the time.
Right.
So it's like there's still a chance it could like randomly go in.
As he got later on in his career, he actually learned how to hit the back part of the rim so it could roll in. Like, it'll hit the back part, kind of roll in off the front rim, like type of deal.
So if you airball it, man, it's like you're not even. I know you're trying, but it gives off the perception that you were not even trying to get.
Just
that.
call it what it is. It makes you say good grief. Goodness gracious. This dude just airballed a freebie.
Some people in the park be doing.
I mean, all right. Your niece and my daughter could probably attempt a better shot than DeAndre Jordan.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
I'm not.
I'm pretty sure Millie can make a free throw. I'm pretty sure my baby
I can,
girl
I
can
figure it out.
Huh?
I can find a way.
Yeah.
To make it happen. Staying in the NBA. Let's go ahead and move into those power rankings I mentioned. Number 1. It's got to be Golden State.
Right. They only got 1 loss on the season.
1 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. Nothing against the Milwaukee Bucks. Why'd it have to be the Bucks? They couldn't go undefeated into the Christmas Day game.
Just say it exactly the way I tweeted out there. Damn you, Bucks. Just damn you. Like, at the end of that road trip, that's what got them. At the end of a road trip, when your self-proclaimed best 2 guard in the NBA was jacked up with an ankle at the end of a 7-game road trip, after you just played ahead of what
overtime game.
Yeah, I mean it was basically set up like it was like yo,
you kidding me?
right?
I'm gonna let all the people that caught that catch it. Number 2, I have San Antonio.
Right. I agree with that.
I've gotten over the fact they don't have a center. I've gotten over that fact. Even though I still think if they play, just because the teams they play against don't have centers either, true centers. But if they ever had to play someone with a true center, they'd probably be done, in my opinion. But all the other teams in the top. Number 3, probably my shocker of the power rank. I have the Thunder ahead of the Cavaliers.
I have the Cavaliers and then the Thunder.
I have the Thunder ahead of the Cavaliers because I feel like if Kevin Durant wouldn't have been injured for like 6 games,
they wouldn't even have 9 losses.
They wouldn't even have 9 losses.
Like, that's what makes
right
it crazy.
With the Spurs.
That's what makes it crazy. It's like they have 9 losses and you're still looking like, oh, they wouldn't even have that many losses had KD not been playing. It's like, wow.
I guess you could say the same thing for the Cavaliers since they haven't had Kyrie. But I don't think Kyrie doesn't have the impact just because LeBron James is there. It's like if Kyrie goes down, well, LeBron is actually the point guard anyway.
Right.
To be honest. Kyrie's a shooting guard playing the 1.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned, I have the Cavaliers 4. You have the Thunder 4.
Mm-hmm.
Just flip-flop. Number 5, I have the Atlanta Hawks.
I agree.
The poor man Spurs. That's what they are.
They move the ball well.
They do.
They started out pretty rocky, but they've gotten traction and has played a lot better since the beginning of the season. Which to be fair, it's the NBA. It's a long season, so
I think Atlanta's kind of gotten that home court advantage back again, where they kind of win a lot of games on the home.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they get that locked down, they'll be threatening the playoffs. Take anyone to 7 games. You remember the Atlanta Hawks back with Joe Johnson? Them like they would take any team to 7 games, but then would lose the 7th game on the road.
It got to a point where everybody was like looking for it to happen. It's like, well, it's 7 games, but you already know what's going to happen.
So they're gonna win the home ones and they're gonna lose the road ones.
Something similar like when T-Mac was playing in Houston. It was like they're gonna make the playoffs. Yeah, if they advance, that's another story.
Exactly. Number 6, I have the Miami Heat.
Yes, I do. I have Miami Heat as well.
That defense. I saw Whiteside in the middle, just getting blocks left and right. Then you have Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big if, I guess. Even though I think it's Chris Bosh's team now. Like what Chris Bosh has done.
Right.
The fact that this team is still this relevant after LeBron James decided to leave speaks to Pat Riley.
Right. Because he
didn't get a whole bunch of new pieces. I mean, he got Dragic, but
right.
he didn't just go out and Luau Deng. He didn't go out and just get another star to replace LeBron James. He got a team.
He just looked at the fact that, hey, we have 2 of arguably the top 5 guys that you want to have on your team, and we lost one of them. But we still have 2 of the other ones. So it's like, all right. Chris Bosh can revamp his game back to what it was like in Toronto.
It's funny, like he's not back to where he was in Toronto. He doesn't do the post game as much, but he is what he had to learn to do in Miami, which was become a stretch forward pretty much.
Right.
He's built on that. All right, I'm gonna be outside oriented forward,
right,
that has an inside game,
right,
and can actually get the ball on the side. And I think him putting it together has helped the team out.
Right.
Maybe not helping his individual stats, but it's helping the team out more.
Right.
Which when he was in Toronto,
he was the focal point.
Great individual stats, but at the same time, you weren't winning games.
Exactly.
Which brings me to number 7, where I have Toronto.
You have Toronto, I have Indiana.
I have Indiana 8.
You do? And that's where I have Toronto at 8. Just a flip-flop.
The Pacers on a 3-game losing streak. I think that's the only reason I haven't dropped a little bit, because I did have the Pacers last week, I believe. It's almost top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe in the Pacers, although I don't appreciate Paul George. I think we all heard my take on that yesterday. I like Paul George. I like his game. I believe he can carry this team to the playoffs. Number 9, the Orlando Magic.
At number 9, I have Detroit basketball.
I have them 10.
You do? At 10, I have the
You didn't put it.
Chicago Bulls.
Oh, what?
I mean, Chicago Bulls.
Man. They ain't coach hard enough. I don't know if I can trust a team where there's a player constantly bashing the coach. Same reason I have something against the Vikings in the NFL right now. It's like, you gonna bash the coach
I'm surprised
to the
you had-
media? To the media, like not like behind closed door. At least DeMarco Murray went to the owner to do it.
Straight up. And how it, I still always wonder, how did that even get out? Like, the owner straight snitched DeMarco out. That's the only thing I can think of.
There are out there.
Right.
Watch your back out there. There are snitches. Interesting thing about this power rankings, I don't know if you recognize them. My top 3 are all from the West.
Right.
I think 3 are your top 4 are from the West.
Right.
After those 3, it's all
Eastern Comp. Right. It's looking a whole lot like what you said with women's basketball. When you have that one woman star in basketball, she's like leaps and bounds better than everybody else. And it's looking like that in the West. It's like you have 1, 2, and 3. That's Golden State, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City in that order. All 3 of those teams have single-digit losses. And then right after that, you go right down to number 4, and you have the paper clips. You have the LA Clippers, who's maybe 2 games, I believe. Let me make sure I want to get this right. Who are now 4 games above 500. You have the Dallas Mavericks, who's right now 3 games above 500 in the 5th spot. And then from there, it goes down.
To me, the Mavericks are really close to my top 10.
Yeah.
I'd probably even put them above the Bulls due to controversy the Bulls have.
Lackadaisical play, which has done drove Rick Carlisle mad. Like,
They're really inconsistent.
right.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Exactly. And that's what's been driving them crazy. Because, like, at the beginning of the season, like, everybody was really surprised at the fact they was up there at the time in the 3 spot, like you said, for it. But at the time, Oklahoma City was going through their injuries because a while back, Oklahoma City was like 7th and 8th for a good minute. And then now they've, gained their traction and make their run, of course. But for a while, the Mavericks was off in that top 3 spot. Fell back, lost a couple of games, went on a couple of losing streaks, and the rest is kind of history for right now.
I still like the Mavericks and their chances slightly better than the Clippers.
As of right now, if the playoffs had started today, it would be Mavs Clippers first round.
That's a great series.
Right.
I guess
the drama in that period.
Exactly.
The drama.
DeAndre Jordan.
Right. The drama in that. Like, the
I don't-
NBA would sell that period. Like, that would always be one of those 8 o'clock games. 7, 8 o'clock games. I get depending on what time zone
The
you're in.
NBA is very confused on how to schedule games, though,
Yeah.
because moving forward, we're going to go into these Christmas Day games.
Right.
Okay, we're going to pick our games. There's 5 games. And the way they scheduled this, that's what I want to talk about first before we pick the games. We have the Battle of LA as the 8:30 game, or 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 Eastern. And then the 7 o'clock game, which you would think would be the Cavaliers Warriors, is the Spurs Rockets.
Right.
The Cavaliers Warriors is 4 o'clock. That just seems weird. You think they would be the prime time.
You're kicking it off. Like, everybody sit at your TV after everybody done open up gifts and ate dinner and everything like that. Sit down with the fam and watch this good old rematch of the NBA Finals. But instead, it's a 4 o'clock Central Time game.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to me because I'm a basketball fan. I watch it. It doesn't matter what time.
Right.
It could have came on at 6 o'clock in the morning. I probably would have woke up to watch it.
Right.
Just telling the truth.
You can even say that Bulls Thunder game is actually going to be pretty entertaining.
Oh, it's going to be Jimmy Butler versus Russell Westbrook is it's going to be interesting. I mean, I understand Derrick Rose is going to be there, but
Right.
we know Jimmy Butler is going to be guarding Russell Westbrook, in my opinion.
Right.
If they don't match that up. It'll be interesting. Let's start picking the games. First game, 11 a.m. Central, 12 o'clock Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Pelicans, Heat. Pelicans have struggled this season. Anthony Davis averaging a double-double.
Right. Not doing them a whole lot because they got rid of a head coach that actually knew how to use the team that he got, that he had. Especially when you look at the Western Conference right now, like the back end of it being as down as it is. Like you think this team would be in the mix to still be off in anywhere from a 6th on back, like 8 spot, but they can't even muster up anything to get in the mix of that right now.
Pelicans sitting at 9-19. They're 3-13 away, and
Wow.
they are going to Miami on Christmas.
I mean,
So I'm taking Miami.
yeah,
Get the gist of that.
to me, I don't want to call it easy work, but it looks like easy work to me. I mean, like you said before, Davis is going to do what he do. Like his stats is going to be his
I
stats.
don't know Hassan Whiteside's gonna be matching up with him. It'll be interesting.
I think
I would like to mention Hassan Whiteside gave Andre Drummond the other night the business.
yeah.
Not the business. I mean, it was close. It was competitive, but Hassan Whiteside got the better of Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond's probably the second or best center in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Hassan Whiteside's defense is for real, and he might be Defensive Player of the Year.
Real close.
I mean, I'm a fan of perimeter defenders getting the award instead of just shot blockers that just sit in the middle all day.
Right.
But when you're averaging 4, all right,
Yeah. He's
I
like,
would Jason Garrett you.
you're right.
We don't call it clapping here.
We call it Garretting. Or are you Garretting right now? Can you hear me?
A round of applause in the background. Next game, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern. The Bulls go into Oklahoma City and face the Thunder.
I'm taking Oklahoma City in this game.
I am too. If it would have been in Chicago, I think it would have been a close game.
Right. I still think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be one of those games where it still comes down to like minutes and seconds in a game where,
I hope so.
you know, I think this game is actually probably going to be like kind of underrated a bit from the standpoint of people going just got to watch this game just because it's an ABC game. Everybody's watching this game anticipating the next game that comes on. And so,
I hope Derrick Rose goes and puts on a show.
right.
Am I the only one still holding out hope that Derrick Rose will one day just magically click everything together and he's just gonna become
I think so.
Tiger Woods it? Like
Right.
hoping Tiger Woods come back and like I'm sitting here hoping Derrick Rose just comes back and just goes MVP mode
See, I think he has a shot, but only if
he leaves Chicago.
exactly because right now, like he spent his whole career there, and he's down about the fact that that's his hometown, and he can't be the guy everybody expected him to be. But all of a sudden, you change scenery, and that pressure's not on you no more. So now you could actually just play ball.
Kind of the way Kobe Bryant is to me. First 17 games, he's trying to put it together. Then he announces he's gonna retire
And now he's
And
just
now
playing free,
out of nowhere. Now he's
dropping 31 points from out of nowhere.
it's like we all knew Kobe could do it, but
Right.
what was going on the first 17 games?
He was actually stopping himself because he was trying so hard, mainly because of the fact that he wanted to prove everybody wrong so bad to the point to where it wasn't allowing him to play the way he should have been playing. You can even say the same thing about you remember we heard LeBron James say that first season with the Miami Heat, like he embraced that villain role so much to the point to where he played angry, and he was like, that's never been his game to play like angry or anything like that. Like everything about him is just about the joy of the game. And so for a while he just wanted to be the bad guy, and it didn't work out the way he felt like it should have worked out.
We both picked Oklahoma City. I'm gonna skip a couple games so we can say the best for last.
Right.
Let's go with the 9:30 p.m. game, Central Time. Eastern be 10:30. The Clippers play the Lakers.
Oh, paper clips.
The Lakers are listed as the home team.
I'm not a fan of sharing arenas, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm so serious. Like, I'm not a fan of just oh, when you guys leave on y'all road trip, this is our, you know, this is my locker right here. But then you know this is Kobe Bryant locker. Like, I mean, never mind, man.
So never mind.
Just never mind, man. Just like, yo, I'm so serious.
With Kobe having the reoccurrence, he's gonna come back and start playing extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible in his last Christmas Day game he goes out there and makes the Clippers look like the Clippers again?
No, I think the Clippers win this game, but I think Kobe Bryant, like you said, he puts on his own show. He puts on his own clip.
I'm picking the Lakers on the sole fact that I want him to go out there and.
I think the Paper Clips win this game, and it's not going to even be. It's not like it's going to close out the night in a way where it's just everybody's, like you said before, watching the game mainly because of Kobe's last Christmas Day game. Kobe's going to get at least 25 points, I believe. He's going to score at least 25 points.
I hope so.
But that's not going to do them no good because they're going to wind up getting beat by 15 or even 20. They're going to get drugged.
It's definitely possible. It's possible that could happen. I hope not.
Chris Paul may even go out there and put on the show.
No.
I'm talking triple-double.
Chris Paul's not putting on a triple double.
It's possible.
Yeah,
Against these Lakers, yes.
It's possible, but I don't see it happening. Chris Paul doesn't just go out there and get triple doubles.
He can. Against the Lakers. Against this Lakers team, he can.
If they're winning by 15 or 20, he's not going to be in a position to get it.
It's going to be because he done it early.
Done it early. Okay. Next game.
I know I know I rubbed you the wrong way with that one because I know how you feel about Chris Paul.
I don't have a problem with Chris Paul. He's like a top 7 point guard.
Yeah.
Maybe 8. I don't know. I'd have to make a list.
He just single-handed just backhand slapped. Oh, he's a good point guard. He's just not in my top 5. Backhand slap. Just, sir. Nah, he just scooped.
It's not wrong being a top 10 point guard in the NBA. As the number gets bigger.
Says the guy I'm better than I. Like if you was playing the NBA, you would sit back there and accept the fact that someone says he's the 8th best point guard in the NBA. No. You look that fool like you crazy. What? I'm 8? Okay. Like you said before, nothing good comes from okay or
Alright.
right. When you hear those 2 words, usually something's going down.
Next game before we're out of time. 7 o'clock game. Spurs Rockets.
Right.
8 o'clock Eastern. I'm taking the Spurs. I'm gonna go ahead and call dibs on that.
Yeah, I can't pick the Rockets. I have to pick. I don't see any reason why the Spurs will lose against the Rockets. Dwight Howard. I mean, okay, he's not. This is not Orlando Magic Dwight Howard. Seriously, I'm not even saying this. Not even the LA Lakers Dwight Howard. This ain't even like seriously.
He's Dwight Howard right now.
No. And I mean, you have a.
Kawhi Leonard's gonna guard James Harden. That's what I'm looking for.
Exactly. And so basically what that tells me is he's gonna put in his work on the defensive end, and offensively everything is gonna come easy. With James Harden potentially trying to guard, play defense against, him, which he will fail miserably like always. And Kawhi Leonard goes out there and puts up 22 points. Easy. James Harden may get 15.
May get 15. James Harden's probably going to put up 20.
Only because Kawhi's out of the game from some time. Because they're going to they're going to drag him down. Like, this game has been played in Tennessee or in Houston. Anybody who's going to that game that's a Houston Rockets fan going to be ready to leave at the beginning of the 4th quarter. In my opinion.
I think the Spurs win a close game. I don't think it's going to be like that. Last game on Christmas, or the middle game on Christmas.
Right.
Cavaliers Warriors 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. Game everyone's looking forward to in California.
Right.
Steph Curry, LeBron James. Who you got?
Taking Steph Curry. Self-proclaimed best basketball player this universe has ever seen. And I'm picking this in a game where I think this is gonna come down to the whoever has the ball last type of deal.
I think it's gonna be the same way. You think Matthew Dellavedova guards Steph Curry all day?
I think if they do,
I hope
he's
Curry
really
puts
like
on 50.
Yo, exactly. Like he's gonna go out there with cruel intentions of just embarrassing that guy. And it's no disrespect to Dellavedova. I mean, he done what he was supposed to do in the series. Like your job is to defend this guy right here, and all he did was do it to the best of his abilities. But it's just the fact that he had 1 or 2 good games, and like everybody just blew that up. Like, oh, Delly this, Delly that, to the Delly mark. Who's Delly mark? Man, you gonna get on.
I'll take the Warriors because they're home.
Uh-huh.
I think Steph Curry. I hope they put Dellavedova so Steph Curry goes off. I think the Warriors win by like 15. Kyrie Irving's not ready.
No, he's not.
I mean,
Sparingly.
he's not ready for that. I mean, maybe Kyrie Irving goes out there and drops some points, but they'll be with a lot of shots.
How many minutes would you give him in this game?
10.
10. I see. I thought the
Like,
same exact thing. Like seriously,
If you want to
like,
win, but if you're more focused on the playoffs, I'd give him 25.
yeah,
Give him top competition for a while and
Right.
realize that you're probably gonna lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
Take the loss
right.
for the playoffs,
But I don't think this team wants to.
they don't want to lose the Warriors.
Right.
game. I mean,
Right.
who would want to lose? Period. But I mean, you see Greg Popovich do it all the time. You're gonna sacrifice a loss for the playoffs.
Exactly. That's what Pop do though. Come and expect that from Pop.
Coming up next on the Sports Machine, moving from the NBA, getting into football, college bowl season right here on the Sports Machine. Sports Machine with Brian Dean went over the NBA Power Rankings, the Christmas Day games. Moving on to football. College football pick 6 bowl games on Saturday. Some more random bowls for us to discuss.
Right. But the most of the ones with the most, I guess, say stranger names, it's kind of out of the way. Like,
I don't know. St. Petersburg Bowl is not necessarily not random.
then you got the Bahamas Bowl, the Hawaii Bowl. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm at the wrong spot. Please forgive me. I'm looking at the wrong spot. Give me just a second. Let me update my screen.
Struggle. A little weird.
Get this straight. All right, there we go. Hyundai Sun Bowl. Come on, man. That's cool. Heart of Dallas Bowl. Now I'm down for Heart of Dallas, baby.
The Washington plays Southern Mississippi in that game. I'm not sure.
Yo, can't look at Washington like that no more after the little deal that you told me about.
Oh,
Like
we don't have to get into that list next week or something.
like seriously, like I look at Washington different now.
25 most profitable programs.
And they're in the top
Washington.
15.
Washington is in there.
Like, yo, like seriously. And that's no lie. Like like I said, when we get into this list next week, you will be surprised at some of the teams that's in there. And then it's gonna have you thinking about the teams that's not in there and where they're listed at. So that's just something that's a bit of a teaser, something to get you to look forward to next week.
First bowl game for this college pick 6. I'm going St. Petersburg Bowl,
All right.
10 a.m. in the morning. Connecticut plays Marshall.
Marshall gives Connecticut the business.
Nah, I think so too.
I'm going with Marshall.
I don't think it's gonna be very close. I mean, 6-6 is not.
Going to cut the mustard.
A lot of people look down on smaller schools. Well, a lot of smaller schools run their conference for a reason.
Right. And Marshall's lost some close games at 9-3.
Yes. I think Marshall probably could have deserved a better bowl than that, but
Right.
I'm not gonna get into that. Next bowl, Hyundai Sun Bowl,
Washington State, Mike Leach,
plays Miami University.
who actually wound up having a better season at 8-4.
Miami University.
Right. Sun Bowl, El Paso, Texas.
How you feel about that? you earn the right to go to a bowl game. Where are we going, Coach? Are we going to the Bahamas Bowl, the Hawaii Bowl, going to El Paso? This is no offense to El Paso. No, it's in Texas. We represent Texas. We represent Texas. But I'm just saying.
He just straight, just backhand and palm slap, like, oh man, just straight gave it to El Paso, and then
Yeah,
I'm
just saying out of all the options I've seen of cities, El Paso's sitting on the short end of the stick.
Do you think you talk about two programs? I guess a program and a coach that was like kind of married and kind of fit. Mike Leach and Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech misses Mike Leach like crazy because he had that team competing well, but the whole Craig Jameson and the whole 9 yards that went down with Texas Tech, that school hasn't been the same since he left. Even the defensive coordinator he had with him, who's now I think still coaching ECU. It's Ruffin McNeil. I think that's who's coaching down there. But he was his defensive coordinator, had that defense playing well. I mean, think about what they had when Crabtree was there and company. But Washington State, I'm basically, I said that to say I'm picking Washington State because I like the way Mike Leach, I like his offense. I like his teams on offense. They'll spread you out type of team.
I'll take Miami University. I like what I saw out of them this year. I think they had a little bit of a tougher road than Washington State at points in their schedule.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like really they could have been a little bit better than what they were. But
Right.
next up, the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Represent Dallas. Washington plays Southern Mississippi.
I'm gonna roll with Southern Mississippi on this one. I don't know a lot about them, but I do know their quarterback is 306 for 483, over 4,000 yards and 36 touchdowns. So, needless to say, the guy he's not afraid to throw the football.
I like Washington. They have a running back.
Yep, ain't nothing wrong with control the floor of the game.
And like you said, I don't know anything about Southern Mississippi. At least I've seen Washington play.
6'4" Michael Thomas, who is Southern Mississippi's receiver, had 6'2" receptions, over 1,200 yards receiving, and 12 touchdowns.
Next game, New Era Pinstripe Bowl. New York, Indiana faces Duke.
I'm going to take Duke.
I'm going to take Indiana because Jordan Howard is a beast.
Right. But Duke has lost some crazy games in some of the worst ways. And I think as well as Indiana's, I guess, they worked hard to be a 500 team. I think Duke can still be it's going to be one of those which team has the ball last close games.
True. Speaking of random bowls, Camping World Independence Bowl.
Why can't he just call it the Independence Bowl, Camping World?
Because you have to make the money. The money comes from Camping World. No one cares about the Independence part. Tulsa plays Virginia Tech.
Both of those teams are 6-6, but I don't know why. I just think this is gonna be a high scoring, entertaining game.
I think Virginia Tech probably gonna give them the business because that's Virginia Tech.
I'm gonna roll with Tulsa.
I believe it. It probably is gonna be a high scoring game.
And Shreveport, Louisiana. Look at them.
UCLA plays Nebraska in the Foster Farms Bowl. I'd like to mention Nebraska is 5-7.
I'm taking UCLA.
I'm taking Nebraska just because I think it'd be funny if a 5-7 team won.
Yeah, just once again, my team is 5-7. We're not playing in the bowl game. Forget it.
We don't have time to get into this.
Forget it.
I wish we had time to get into this. Well, if I get the opportunity to play the game, we'll play the game.
Forget it.
Coach asks you if you want to play in the game. You tell him no. Really though? Things in sports make you say really though. Like you're on a sports machine. Who would like to go first?
I'm gonna make this quick for you, B. My really though goes to early 2000 San Diego Chargers. Now some of you may have like, what? What are you thinking about? Like, how are you gonna really know them? I'm really knowing them because for those of you who don't know, there was a rookie over there in Baltimore who got, everybody knows about the rookie hazing that tends to go on in the NFL. The rookie over there in Baltimore got hazed, and everybody charged a meal to him that wound up ringing up almost over 11 grand that he wound up having to pay for. So TMZ talked to Marcellus Wiley, who said, man, LaDainian Tomlinson had to have the highest rookie hazing bill ever known to any football player. You want to know how much they charged to LaDainian Tomlinson?
How much was that?
$32,000. God, 32 grand. And they talked to LT, who talked back to TMZ, and told him he was extremely ticked off, and that's the rated G version of it, because people was ordering lobsters to go. Like, it wasn't that they ate. It wasn't enough that they ate and charged it to them at the restaurant. They took some to go. LT paid for it. He said he really didn't want to pay for it, but Marcellus Wiley made him pay for it. But I can't help but to say, really though, to that team, it's like, all right, you took lobsters to go. Come on, man, really though, you knew what you was doing. Even a practice squad player gets paid almost 60, 70, 80 grand. Come on. Really though? The floor is yours, fam.
I don't know if I can top that. That's
32 grand, B.
Cause I read about the Ravens rookie,
right,
in which they charged like half of one game salary. Dude, that's half my check.
To everybody who was eating.
It's not okay. My really though goes out to the Washington Redskins.
What's that for?
It goes to them. Maybe, not just Jay Gruden, but the whole team apparently has been giving Robert Griffin III credit for the way he's handled the situation. Jay Gruden said Robert has been a pro about it. Put yourself in his shoes and what he's done and accomplished as a rookie and all the things everyone was expecting from him. It's a tough position to take a back seat in this position, but he's handled it well. I told him he has a chance to play a long time. This is just part of the growth experience for a young quarterback.
What?
Dude doesn't even get to dress up to play. Like, he doesn't get to put pads on. How else is he supposed to handle it?
He's only dressed up, I believe, in 2 games this year, and that was only because I think the backup Colt McCoy was like injured or something like that. But that's the only reason he got the dress.
Really though, Jake, You can't bench somebody. You didn't even bench him.
Right.
You basically took him off the team without taking him off the team.
Basically, blackball just says, look, I want nothing to do with you at all.
I don't even know how to put this into like words. Because if I'm Robert Griffin III, you appreciate the way I handled the situation. I don't appreciate the way you handled me.
Right.
How did I have Robert Griffin III's leash was so short? Let's not act like Kirk Cousins was just been doing this all season.
Right.
He had his struggles, but he didn't get pulled. Robert Griffin III had a struggle for one game, half of a game, and Kirk Cousins came in the game.
And another thing was, everybody tend to forget that this offensive line had a very difficult time blocking and protecting Robert Griffin, which is one of the reasons why he got injured a lot of times. Except for the one play where the dislocated ankle that he had. I mean, that happens. But
really though,
right?
You gotta give him credit for the way he handled the situation. He probably deserves. Robert Griffin III does deserve credit for not being like really messed up about it. But at the same time, it doesn't need to come from the Redskins.
You know one thing that tripped me out about that article, B, that we both read from, was the fact that like the media is not even allowed to talk to him. Like they deny him access. They deny media access to Robert Griffin. You want to talk about making sure that there's no drama.
I've seen it before with the Washington Redskins. No means no.
Right. they deny access. Anybody who wants to talk to Robert Griffin, they don't have access to talk to him. I mean, they have completely phased him out. You can't even get media access.
Moving on to the NFL Pick 6. First game. Undefeated Carolina Panthers, 14-0. Facing the struggling Atlanta Falcons. All the talk this week. Roddy White and Julio Jones kind of going at Josh Norman. And today, Josh Norman come back with the greatest comeback I think I've heard in a while. Said, Julio Jones, he's one of the top receivers on their team. And I think Roddy is their fifth receiver behind the tight end and some running backs. It's so true.
That was like
Roddy White don't even get the ball. Good job, Norman. Good job.
He's out there to block.
That was a good one.
Roddy White's out there to block.
Just got him. I'm taking the Panthers. I think they stay undefeated.
I don't. Once again, I want the Panthers to win all the way out. Like I seriously want to see this team. I guess match the mark that was made by the 72 Dolphins by actually going the season undefeated and winning the Super Bowl, like a complete undefeated season. I think Cam Newton will be the first Heisman Trophy guy to actually Heisman Trophy and national title winner to go undefeated in college football season, as well as do it in the NFL. I think he'd be the first ever to do that. And so I really want to see that happen because, I mean, once again, he's a great guy, does his work charity-wise, but I don't know why I got the feeling that the whole taking pictures at the end of the game when they played the Falcons about a week ago, I think it's going to come back to him. And with the way the Falcons' defense have let teams back in the games, I could see that happening in Atlanta. If not Atlanta, maybe even in Tampa Bay. So I got the Falcons on this one.
Good luck. That'd be my response.
Oh, I'm going to need all the luck picking that one. I mean, it could go either way.
Next game, Giants-Vikings.
Giants-Vikings. We all know now it is official that they denied Odell Beckham Jr.'s they denied his appeal. So he's officially out for that game, as if the Giants didn't have enough problems going on with a defense that pretty much allow anybody to score. They're 32nd in the league in pass. I have the Vikings winning this game very easy and basically ending the New York Giants' hopes at even trying to win even trying to win the NFC East.
I have the Giants
You have the Giants?
I have the Giants beating the Vikings. I have a reason behind this. But to get to my reason, we have to go to the next game. Redskins, Eagles.
Uh-huh.
I have the Eagles beating the Redskins. So I think top 3 teams will be 7-8 going into the next week. That's how
The
I feel
final
like
week.
The NFC East. That's how I feel like it's going to end.
Mm.
That's the only reason I have the Giants beating the Vikings.
I have the Redskins beating the Eagles.
Clinching the division.
Yeah. I think they're gonna come out like gangbusters. For whatever reason, Deshaun Jackson, every time he plays somebody in the NFC East, he always has a pretty good game against them. And not to mention, I mean, he's playing against a former team that just said, hey, about all the things that you've done for us. 2 fingers like a player, deuces. Chunked him out. Just get out. Go. Get out.
Get. Scat.
He scat. Real talk. Just straight gave him the scat. So I think he's going to wind up having a game against Philly in Philly. And,
That's possible.
And then they're going to, and what's going to happen is when they win that game, the fire Chip Kelly ship is going to really be on full steam ahead.
The Redskins on the road, though, is not.
They're not. They just got a road win, a week ago?
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that game. Next game, Patriots, Jets. Jets fighting for that final spot. Need to win. Have to win.
Right.
I mean, I don't see the Chiefs or the Steelers slowing down anytime soon. So
exactly. Not to mention, like you said before, the Steelers own the tiebreaker between the two. So, I mean, they're in a position where they must win out. This game is so big to them that this may wind up being their Super Bowl game.
Plus, it's the Patriots.
Exactly. Boston versus New York, that's always a rival game. I got the Patriots, and I got the Patriots rather easy.
I have the Patriots as well. I feel like they're just going to put the Jets out.
Exactly.
Like I feel like that's their sole purpose in life.
Right.
Sometimes it's just to make sure other teams feel despair.
And they're going to take away their best player, whether it is Brandon Marshall, or whether they just stop completely, just shut down the run game and Chris Ivory.
No one can shut down Ryan Fitzpatrick.
It was so funny. You had to laugh at it.
I like Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know how I feel.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is a very quality starter in the NFL. He deserves to start.
The way you said that with the straight.
I really believe that.
Oh, man.
Now, I don't think he's unstoppable, but I do think he's a quality starter. There's not 32 quarterbacks better than him. He deserves to start. Plus, he went to Harvard. Next game, Bengals, Broncos. The battle of the backups. A.J. McCarron, who became a Hall of Famer in his first game, and Brock Osweiler.
Straight up. The guy who just, I'm taking the mantle right now from Peyton. Just get out of here.
He went up to Ocho Cinco and asked for the jacket. Future Hall of Fame jacket.
Right.
If he came out with a future Hall of Famer jacket,
Yo, he would get blasted so bad.
that'd be
It's
the
like,
greatest thing in the world.
I got the Bengals, actually. I think the Bengals will, they have a dual threat running back, quarterback there. I think they go out there and they actually run the ball more than A.J. McCarron winds up passing. I think they rush for more than 30. They going to split the carries. They're going to wind up rushing for more than 30 carries. 15 and 15 between the two running backs.
I'd take the Broncos. Brock Osweiler is better than A.J. McCarron.
Yeah, he's played a little bit. He's played a lot more as well. So then again, this no-fly zone defense has shown that they can be thrown on.
I hate people that pick their own nicknames. Let other people pick your nickname. Which is why I got mad at Kevin Durant when he was denying nicknames. Don't deny nicknames, just take it. They come from other people. Last game on an NFL pick 6, Packers, Cardinals.
I'm taking the Cards in this game. Even though I know they lost, one of their best defensive players in Tyrann Mathieu to the ACL this week. I still think they have enough on defense and offense to give the Packers a run for the money and win a game very close. I think it winds up coming down to who has the ball last. I think what happened is the final drive, you're going to see Carson Palmer do a drive, get him in field goal range, and win the game
I think
in walk-off field goal fashion.
I think the Cardinals are going to win as well. I think Carson Palmer outplays Aaron Rodgers, partly because Carson Palmer has better weapons at this point.
Yeah.
I like what I've seen out of David Johnson.
Oh,
It doesn't seem like they've missed a beat with CJ 2K leaving.
Right.
And I feel like it might even come down to Cardinals being on defense. And I still think the Cardinals can hold. I mean, we've seen the Packers have had troubles late in games sometimes this season.
Right. Unless you're Detroit and let him somehow hit you with a 60-yard Hail Mary.
I'm not gonna talk about that. I don't think the chances of that are very unlikely. I don't think the Cardinals have that bad of a secondary.
Hey, BYU done it twice.
To randoms. The Cardinals secondary is too good for that, I believe. Even without Tyrann.
All I know is I just need Richard Rodgers to catch a couple of touchdown passes.
I ain't gonna pick the Cardinals and then just sit here and give me a soliloquy on why the Packers might win.
I just want,
Because I picked the Cardinals.
once again, I picked the Cardinals to win. I just need Richard Rodgers to score at least 2 touchdowns. That's it. Because I have him on my fantasy team. That's just the truth.
It's unfortunate. I don't think it's gonna pick up. Don't no one out there get Richard Rodgers.
Okay. We'll see.
Great show today. Everybody enjoy your holidays. Keep it safe. Shout out to the fam.
Most definitely. Thanks for the love and thanks for listening. Be safe. Don't drink too much E&J and eggnog.
Next week we will come over the weekend, talk about Christmas Day games most definitely.
Right.
NFL, college, of course. Holiday season. Somebody's gotta get rid of those. No Christmas gifts here.
Straight up.
Right here on the Sports Machine.
Peace out.